Landlords are abandoning the UK rental market in record numbers. 62% are ready to sell, and the exodus has already slashed rental supply and sent mortgage lending into freefall. With eviction notices rising by the day and new regulations set to detonate the market after May 1st, 2026, renting could soon mean battling for survival. What is forcing landlords to run for the exit, and will renters be left with any way out? Section 24 tax changes have hammered landlord profits year after year. Before 2017, mortgage interest could be fully deducted from rental income, but now higher rate taxpayers face tax bills that often wipe out their gains. For many, the sums do not add up. Where a landlord once paid tax only on profit, now they pay tax on turnover, sometimes owing the government more than they actually earned. One Birmingham landlord described paying £87,000 in mortgage interest, yet being allowed to deduct only £14,000 from tax. The result was a £12,000 annual loss and a decision to sell properties just to stop the bleeding. Banks have responded with brutal caution. Buy-to-let mortgage lending has plunged 73% since 2024. Lenders are pulling back, raising rates and tightening criteria. New investors are locked out, and even experienced landlords struggle to refinance. The days of easy remortgaging are over. Instead of holding on, landlords are cashing out, selling properties to escape negative cash flow and mounting tax bills. The rental market is bleeding supply, not through slow attrition, but through a rapid, numbers-driven retreat. Every sale removes another rental from circulation, shrinking options for tenants and pushing rents higher. Landlords are not waiting for May, they are leaving because the math no longer works. Rental homes are vanishing from the market at a pace not seen in decades. In 2025 alone, more than 93,000 landlords called it quits, pulling tens of thousands of properties out of the private rented sector. Letting agents report that former rentals now make up over 15% of all homes listed for sale, almost double the proportion from just a year earlier. The vast majority of these homes are not coming back as rentals, only a fraction are re-let, while most disappear into owner occupation or sit empty awaiting buyers. The squeeze is not just about tax or lending. The government's new energy rules are pushing many over the edge. By April 2026, any property rented out must hit an EPC rating of C. For landlords with older homes, that means shelling out between £8,000 and £15,000 per property just to stay legal. For some, especially those with larger portfolios or older Victorian terraces, the bill can reach £20,000 or more. Even with the grants, the math is brutal. One landlord in Birmingham summed it up. You're looking at a 5-figure sum just to keep each property compliant. If you own more than a couple, you're staring down a 6-figure outlay, money you'll never get back in rent. This wave of sales is not a slow leak, but a flood. Every home sold means fewer choices for tenants and more pressure on those left behind. With each withdrawal, the market tightens, setting up a showdown as the legal deadline approaches. May 1st, 2026 introduces a legal overhaul that rewrites the rules for every landlord and tenant in the UK. The Renters' Rights Act 2025 eliminates Section 21, ending the era of no-fault evictions. After this date, landlords lose the ability to remove tenants without providing specific grounds, removing a key safety net for those managing difficult situations or planning to reclaim their property. At the same time, rent increases face strict limits. Annual hikes are now capped at the Consumer Price Index plus 2%, tying landlords' hands even as costs rise. The stakes get higher with new energy efficiency rules. Any property let after April 2026 must achieve an EPC rating of C or face heavy penalties. Some reports warn of fines of £30,000, while official guidance sets civil penalties starting at £5,000 per breach, with enforcement targeting the worst offenders first. For many landlords, the risk is real, especially as average upgrade costs range between £8,000 and £15,000 per property, with older homes demanding even more. Banks have responded with caution. Remortgaging options have all but dried up, with landlords choosing to sell rather than face stricter lending and uncertain returns. Policy analysts warn the combination of rent caps, eviction restrictions and looming compliance costs leaves landlords with little room to manoeuvre. The legal deadline does not just close a chapter, it creates a cliff. Those who have not exited by May 1st may find themselves locked in, unable to raise rents, unable to evict, and facing fines if their property falls short of the new standards. Rental listings are drying up at an astonishing rate. In February, Rightmove reported nearly half as many homes available to rent compared to the previous year, a 47% drop that has left entire city neighbourhoods with nothing but stale ads and waiting lists. In major cities, supply has shrunk by 27% since 2024. Yet demand has not cooled. Instead, it has exploded, letting agents now field 30 to 50 inquiries for every new property within the first day. Some flats in central Leeds receive dozens of viewing requests before the ink is dry on the listing. The numbers do not just live on spreadsheets. They play out in crowded hallways and overburdened inboxes. In London, it now takes 12 separate viewings and up to 6 weeks to secure a rental, where last year 4 viewings and 10 days were enough. Prospective tenants line up for open houses, sometimes offering above the asking price just to stand out. Stories circulate of renters promising 6 or even 12 months rent up front, desperate to win a place over the competition. The pressure is relentless. For every home that disappears from the market, the scramble intensifies. Bidding wars are now routine, not rare. The odds are stacked against anyone without cash reserves or a spotless record. In this environment, the simple act of finding a place to live has become a high-stakes contest, with far more losers than winners. Section 21 notices are landing on kitchen tables across the country, and the numbers are staggering. The Ministry of Justice tracked over 30,000 accelerated possession claims in the last 12 months, each one a family told to leave, not for wrongdoing, but because their landlord wants out before May. In cities like Brighton, the impact is deeply personal. A single mother with 2 children, renting for years, received her notice in February. She spent 5 weeks searching, attending nearly 50 viewings. 41 times she was turned down. The few offers she did get came with a catch: rents £400 to £600 higher than she was paying. Now she is facing the local council's homelessness team, joining more than 1.3 million others already on waiting lists. The council cannot promise a home, only a place in temporary accommodation, often a single room, sometimes for more than a year. These are not isolated stories. The system is overwhelmed, and the safety net is stretched to breaking point. Every path forward now comes with a price tag most renters cannot pay. Staying put means swallowing rent hikes that push a typical £1,400 flat to £1,900, an extra £6,000 a year, with no guarantee your landlord will not sell anyway. Trying to move is no escape. Each property draws 30 or more applicants, rents are higher than ever, and moving costs alone can swallow £4,000 to £6,000 before you even unpack. Buying a home feels just as out of reach. The average house now costs £298,000, requiring a £29,800 deposit and a household income of at least £48,000 to qualify, numbers that only 8% of renters can manage without family help. With average rents eating up 67% of take-home pay, saving for a deposit is almost impossible. The reality is simple: pay more to stay, pay more to move, or try to buy with money you do not have. For millions, this is not a choice, this is a trap. Today, renting means facing shrinking options and soaring costs. 67% of average take-home pay now goes to rent. As supply contracts and demand explodes, the safety net is vanishing. For millions, housing security is not just uncertain, it is slipping away. What will you do before the deadline hits?